Discover the heartwarming moment a homeless girl inspires a billionaire's son to speak after 10 years of silence. Henry stared out from his lavish penthouse, the city that never sleeps sprawling below him like a glittering carpet of unattainable dreams. Laughter, sirens, and honking horns echoed into his confined world, where he felt more like a tiny shadow hidden behind the polished marble of power and gold. At 16, he already bore the weight of his father's expectations, a tech billionaire who expected nothing less than perfection. But with every passing day, the suffocating social anxiety choked him, leaving him isolated in a fortress of luxury. Join a volunteer outreach program, his father insisted one evening, his voice booming like a storm cloud. Henry sighed, the last flicker of rebellion dwindling in his chest. It'll be good for your image. Reluctantly, he agreed, picturing the event as another box to check on his list of accomplishments. As the day arrived, Henry stepped into a vibrant downtown community green space. The warmth of the early afternoon sun was a stark contrast to the coldness inside him. Volunteers buzzed around like bees, their laughter punctuating the air, but Henry felt apart from it all, a ghost drifting through a bustling city. Then he saw her. Lily stood out among the crowd, a homeless girl with wild hair and a spark in her eyes that defied her circumstances. She laughed freely, her sound ringing like music, pulling Henry in like a moth to a flame. When she caught him staring, she didn't look away. Instead, she smiled, a genuine, beautiful smile that broke through his walls, igniting a curiosity he couldn't explain. "Hey there. You look like you could use a friend," she called, her voice bright and warm. He hesitated, his heart racing as her words washed over him. Slowly, he approached, and they began to talk. They shared stories, her tales filled with resilience and dreams of stability, echoing in Henry's heart like distant chimes. Who was this girl who dared to defy the shadows in her life? Henry learned about her struggles with a glint of hope in her eyes, her laughter infectious and genuine. In her world of chaos, she still found joy. Lily inspired him, urging him to confront his deepest fears as she revealed the value of courage and the power of kindness in a harsh world. For the first time, he felt a connection that transcended their vastly different worlds, like the heartbeat of a new friendship pushing him forward. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. But as their bond deepened, the pressures of their respective worlds loomed ominously. Henry's father discovered the friendship and reacted with fury, viewing it as a threat to his son's future among the elite. "You can't be seen with her," he warned, panic flashing in his eyes. The walls of their pristine penthouse had closed in around Henry, pushing him toward an agonizing decision. At a pivotal family gathering, Henry stood on the edge of a knife, his heart pounding. The swirling mix of fear and determination ignited a fire within him, fueled by the hope and strength Lily embodied. As he approached the crowd, anticipation crackled in the air like electricity. Would he dare to stand up for her, to challenge the prejudiced beliefs that confined him? As he opened his mouth, the weight of his decision hung heavily in the room, leaving everyone breathlessly waiting. Would he find the courage to advocate for change, or would he choose simplicity over truth? The moment hung pregnant with possibility, inviting the reader to dive deeper into the story unfolding. As Henry opened his mouth, the room fell silent, anticipation thick in the air. All eyes were on him, the powerful and the privileged watching with bated breath. His father's gaze bore down on him, a warning in every crease of his brow. Henry's heart raced, a war raging inside. He thought of Lily's laughter, her fierce spirit lighting a fire that had long been extinguished in his world. He began, the word hanging like a fragile glass ornament. It felt heavy in his throat, threatening to shatter into a million pieces. His mind raced through the memories of their conversations, the stories she shared about life on the streets, the cold nights with nothing but her dreams to keep her warm. I want to talk about the people who get overlooked. Like Lily. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Some shifted uncomfortably, unable to process his words. His father's jaw tightened, but he pressed on, igniting an unexpected embers of bravery within him. She has a name, she has dreams, and she deserves to be seen and heard. Every syllable pushed against the walls around him, each word a step away from the suffocating expectations and judgments he had always known. The silence hung in the air, thickening with disbelief. Henry could feel a mixture of shock and reverence shaping the atmosphere. With every sentence, he felt lighter, as if the burdens of his elite upbringing were being shed. You can't judge someone just because they're different. We don't know their struggles, their battles. We can't look down our noses and pretend we're better. Surprised murmurs filled the room, a fierce ripple of energy begun to break through the cool facade of privilege. Yet he could still feel his father's presence looming, angry and disapproving. But anger wasn't the only thing that pulled at Henry now, he sensed something almost like shame beneath the surface. I met Lily yesterday, and she taught me that kindness doesn't come with a price tag. We need to open our eyes. As he spoke, he glanced toward the small window where the golden light streamed in. He wished with all his heart that Lily could hear him now, that she could see the change she had sparked in him. He imagined her smile, her determined eyes lighting up with pride. This realization grew, filling the space with warmth. His father finally cut through the tension with an icy voice, "Henry, this is not how you handle these things. You're making a mockery of our family." The words sliced through him, but he stood firm, recognizing a small yet blooming sense of freedom in defying expectations. Maybe we need to change what it means to be a part of this family. Maybe it starts here. A hush enveloped the room as Henry realized his life had just shifted. Courage, once buried deep in the confines of his heart, had come rushing forth. But as he looked out, he saw confusion, intrigue, and even cautious admiration mingling in the crowd. It wasn't what he expected, and yet it felt like a beginning, a hopeful seed planted in fertile ground. As he stepped back, feeling the electric air around him, he caught a glimpse of his father's face, disappointment, yes, but also something else, uncertainty. And something shifted. The shield that divided their worlds cracked just a little, flickering like an old light bulb. What was he willing to sacrifice to maintain this connection with Lily? Was he ready to risk alienating his family, stepping out of the warmth of privilege for a chance at something real? The choices ahead of him loomed large, each more daunting than the last. And at that moment, he knew his life was about to change in ways he could never have anticipated. As he caught a glance towards the door, seeing the gathering of faces eager for a deeper understanding, Henry felt both fear and exhilarating hope. What would happen next? Would he have the strength to truly fight for Lily and what she represented? The questions loomed like storm clouds, threatening rain, inviting him to take the next step into an unknown future. Henry felt like the ground beneath him could swallow him whole. The eyes still fixated on him, a mix of disbelief and dawning understanding playing across their faces. He took a breath, feeling everything shift within him. He wasn't just standing up for Lily anymore, he was standing up for himself. The empowered silence rose and fell, crackling with unuttered thoughts and hidden fears. How can you talk about people like them? A young woman in the front row shouted, her voice shaky. You're not one of them. You can't relate. Those words struck hard, and for a moment, Henry hesitated. What could he say to someone who had never lived that reality? But as he locked eyes with his father again, something inside him snapped. You're right, he responded firmly. I can't relate to everything they go through. But what I do know is that we can choose to see them. We can choose to care. The murmurs in the crowd became a torrent, voices overlapping in confusion and disbelief. Henry leaned into this moment, sensing the fear that gripped them all. I don't expect you to understand their plight, but maybe we can start by simply listening. His pulse quickened, and he felt the heat of their scrutiny, yet that spark of courage held him steady. Lily opened my eyes, made me feel what I was blind to before. Shouldn't we all strive to do better? His father was now standing, brow furrowed as he approached him with a slow, measured pace. This is exactly what I feared, he said, his voice barely above a whisper, laced with a chilling intensity. You're throwing away everything we've built, everything we are. That's just it, Henry shot back. Who are we? A title? A mansion? I feel hollow. What is it all worth if we aren't human beings who care for one another? A stillness followed, the tension shifting again like tuning strings. He could feel the weight of tradition against his heart battling against the flight of his words. Out of the corner of his eye, Henry caught a glimpse of his mother. Her gaze was distant as she wrapped her arms around herself, as if lost in her own thoughts. It tugged at him, an urge to protect her from this fallout. He had always felt an obligation to uphold their family's name, but today, he felt a greater responsibility to something else, something real. As his father continued to pace and wave his arms about, trying to recapture control, Henry saw colleagues now whispering among themselves, and he knew this moment could easily be a turning point. They were people he had thought were allies, yet now their reactions showed fear mingled with confusion. Could he rally them to see the truth? Think of how inspiring her story could be. What if it shamed us into change instead of anger? We could help transform lives, not just ours. Henry's heart pounded in his chest. Each word was a step into uncharted territory. People were shifting, whispers growing softer, replaced by the throbbing pulse of possibility. The noise faded away, replaced instead by a fragile sense of hope. And then, a soft voice broke through the silence. But what do we do? It was a man seated toward the back, and it caught everyone off guard. What do we do? Henry took a breath, feeling the moment swell within him. We start by showing up. We bring awareness, create programs. We share Lily's story. We let it be our catalyst. We must amplify her voice. The room felt electric, the air thick with potential. He could sense the energy as it shifted, a growing curiosity mixed with resolve. Was it happening? Were they ready for this leap? But as eyes began to brighten with determination, he felt an unexpected twist of uncertainty gripped him again. What if talking was all it was? What if they didn't act? His heart sank at the thought, cliffing into a chasm of doubt. Amidst this whirlpool of thoughts, a very real question surfaced. Would they rally behind him? Would they step out of their comfort zones and embrace the challenges ahead? As the question hung in the air, he faced the daunting reality. This was just the tip of the iceberg, and what lay beneath could not remain hidden for long. With everything at stake, would he have the courage to take that next step either way? Henry held his breath, watching the crowd. Uncertainty loomed large, but so did a flicker of hope. A moment passed, and then the young woman who had spoken up before stood again. I don't want to just listen. I want to help. Her enthusiasm was met with varied reactions. Some faces showed surprise, others skepticism. But Henry felt a shift, a small snowball rolling down a hill, gaining speed. More people began to nod, even whispering to one another. Questions were forming. What if we partnered with local shelters? Another voice chimed in. We could really start something. Yes. Someone else exclaimed, bold and unwavering. Lily's story could be a campaign, a movement. We need to make it happen. His heart raced as the ideas flowed like a stream breaking free from icy restraint. Exactly. We can share her journey on social media, create events to raise awareness, share meals, offer our time, give them tools to start anew. His father's face had morphed from anger to a complicated mix of disbelief and concern. Henry couldn't help but glance over, hoping to read a small hint of support. But his father's eyes were hard, like granite. "What do you hope to accomplish?" he finally barked, the harshness cutting through Henry's infectious enthusiasm. "You think your little initiatives will solve everything? This isn't just a charity case, son." Henry waved a hand, urging the room to refocus. "No, this is about more than just charity. It's about connection. It's about tearing down the invisible walls we've built between us. This is the beginning of something real, something true." His mother looked at him then, and for the first time, her eyes weren't distant. They were filled with something else: curiosity. Maybe even pride. He could read her longing for change, the same desire burning in his chest. "As long as we start," Henry continued, his voice stronger now. "As long as we don't stop trying to understand what they endure daily, we stand a chance to make a difference. All of us." With every word, a sense of momentum swelled. People began to stand, energized by purpose. He could see faces shifting, hearts opening, a community growing. There was laughter and a sense of shared commitment in the air. "Let us all meet tomorrow evening to brainstorm," someone suggested. "We can get a list together, find out what the shelters need." As they started to share ideas, Henry's heart swelled. They were ready to take those first steps. But just as a smile crept across his face, a heavy shadow returned. "What if it's not enough?" he thought, feeling a tightening in his chest. "What if our efforts fall short?" The questions clamored in his mind, threatening to overshadow the hope blossoming around him. In that moment, he realized this was only the beginning. There would be battles ahead, challenges that would test their resolve and unity. Across the room, he caught sight of his father again. The man was solemn, studying the faces of the young and old who had rekindled some spirit of hope. Could he find a way to bridge their worlds, the world of the wealthy elite and those who suffered on the streets? As the excitement buzzed in the air, Henry's heart raced with both fear and hope. Was he ready? What challenges lay ahead? And just then, he heard a small, steady voice. "What if we could also ask Lily to speak? She has a story that needs to be heard. It could show everyone what real courage looks like." The room fell silent at the mention of her name, each person tethered to their own thoughts. Never had so much been sparked by one person's struggle. But it beckoned a new question forward: how would they reach her? The energy hung heavily, electric and fragile. Would Lily be willing to share her journey with them? And if so, what would that mean for them all? Henry felt the weight of the room pressing in around him, a tangible mix of anticipation and hesitation. He glanced over at the door, half expecting Lily to walk in, yet fully aware she might be worlds away, wrapped in her struggles. He could hear the murmurs rising again as people exchanged ideas. "What if we created a fundraiser?" someone suggested. "A community event that also highlights local talent?" "Yes," another voice chimed in. "We can make it something big, a festival. Music, food, art, bring everyone together." Henry's mind raced. A festival, a show of solidarity, but would it really bring the change they were all yearning for? Could they reach Lily through all this? He pictured her, sitting alone on the sidewalk, invisible to those who passed by in their cars, the laughter of the community just out of reach. Suddenly, his father's voice broke through his thoughts. "Fundraisers are nice, but they're just band-aids. We need to look deeper. What does she need? What do those like her truly require?" The room fell silent again as Henry felt his heart race. His father was right: beyond just noise and celebration, they needed to offer real help. Connection, understanding, resources. What if they could teach skills or provide employment opportunities? "Yes!" Henry exclaimed. "Let us not only raise money, let us offer real programs. We can find mentors from within our community to guide them. Workshops on writing, art, even resume building." The room buzzed with newfound energy. Ideas darted around, people suggesting local artists who might lend a hand, or chefs who could teach cooking classes. Hope sparked and flared, igniting every face in the room. But as excitement peaked, a nagging anxiety tugged at Henry's thoughts. They needed Lily. They needed to know her needs firsthand. How could they truly support her if they didn't understand her journey? I think we should reach out to Lily, somehow, he murmured, the weight of his words hanging in the air. Find her story, but also invite her into this. Give her the chance to shape what we're doing. Will she trust us? Someone asked, voice uncertain. I think she will, if we approach her with genuine hearts. If she sees we want to help, not pity, Henry said, determination filling him. We could tell her she doesn't need to be alone in all this. His mother nodded, her eyes glistening again. I believe we can show her that she has people rooting for her. Let us spread the word about our meeting and ask everyone to help find her. A moment of silence followed, the room now heavy with the reality they faced. How would they find Lily? What if she wanted nothing to do with them, or worse, what if she couldn't trust them to listen? Henry took a deep breath, a sense of urgency rising within him. We won't know unless we try. Maybe we can start at the shelters. She could be there. If we can reach out in the right way, maybe we can show her that she has a community willing to stand beside her. The group exchanged glances, a mix of apprehension and hope on their faces. This could be a turning point, not just for Lily but for them too, a chance to transform how they viewed their city and those within it. Then suddenly, a voice from the back rang out, steady and hopeful. What if we made a video? Something to share her story, a call to action? Henry's heart pounded again. What if that was the bridge they needed? We could use that to reach out. He exclaimed, excitement swelling anew. We could show everyone that this isn't just about raising funds, it's about giving dignity, rebuilding lives. As they began brainstorming ideas for the video, a surge of determination pulsed through him. But in the back of his mind, a question loomed, what if Lily doesn't want to be part of it? The energy buzzed, fragile but electric. They were on the precipice of something big. Would they have the courage to take the next step, and would Lily be willing to step into the spotlight? Determined, Henry leaned forward. Let us put our hearts into this and see if we can invite her into our story. The next day felt like a whirlwind. Henry woke early, excitement coiling tight within him. The meeting last night fueled him, but there was no time for idle daydreaming. Today was the day they would reach out to Lily. He glanced at the clock, time was slipping away. After breakfast, he grabbed his coat and stepped outside, the crisp morning air biting at his skin. He made his way towards the community center, where a small group had gathered to plan their outreach efforts. Each face he passed felt illuminated with anticipation, and as soon as he entered the building, the energy swept him along. We've got a list of shelters, one of the volunteers said, tapping on a laptop. We can break into teams and start there. It'll be easier to spread out and cover more ground. Henry nodded, heart racing. Let us do it. Every moment counts. He felt something building inside him, a mix of hope and fear. Would they find Lily? Would she be able to see their intentions clearly? Teams formed around Henry, everyone determined to move quickly. He paired up with Rachel, a bright and compassionate woman who had volunteered in the past. Together, they decided to start at the local church shelter. As they approached the shelter, Henry's stomach twisted. It was a simple building, worn down yet filled with warmth from the kindness it offered. People milled about outside, some speaking animatedly, others wrapped in their own thoughts. Okay, let us focus on our message, Rachel said. We're not just here to help. We're here to invite people like Lily into our community. We want to listen and learn from them. Henry appreciated her tone. It was about fostering connections and building trust, not just offering help. Inside, the atmosphere was buzzing. Volunteers served food and offered warm cups of coffee. Henry and Rachel split up, introducing themselves to people and asking if they had seen Lily. Most hadn't, though a few shared snippets about her, a girl with bright eyes and a fierce spirit who often sat on the sidewalk and read books, trying to escape her reality for just a moment. The search felt daunting, but hope consistently lifted Henry's spirits. He kept picturing Lily's face, how she could light up with a smile, how alone she might feel right now. After an hour of asking around, they met a man named Joe. He seemed weathered but kind, and his eyes sparkled with intelligence. "Yeah, I've seen her," he said, leaning in closer. "She's been here a couple of times. I saw her sitting by the library with her books again just yesterday. You might catch her there." Henry's heart leaped. "Do you think she'd be willing to talk to us?" Joe shrugged, a slight frown creasing his brow. "She's wary of folks. But if you share your intentions honestly, maybe she'll be open. Just approach her gently, okay? She's seen some hard times." Henry glanced at Rachel, who nodded encouragingly. "Let us head over there. Time is ticking." They left the shelter, the weight of anticipation heavy in the air. As they walked towards the library, Henry felt a cocktail of nervousness and excitement pulsing through him. Would Lily be there? Would she listen? The library loomed in front of them, its tall structure standing like a sentinel of knowledge. As they stepped inside, the scent of paper and ink enveloped them. "I can't see her," Rachel whispered, scanning the rows of tables where people sat quietly, lost in their own worlds. "Wait, over there," Henry said suddenly, pointing towards a girl sitting alone at a table. A worn book rested in her lap, her auburn hair cascading over her shoulders. Breathless with hope, Henry approached, shaking off doubts. Would she want to hear them? What if he was too late? He had to take the leap. As he got closer, Lily lifted her gaze from the pages. Their eyes met, and in that brief moment, everything felt charged with potential. "Hi," Henry said softly, heart racing. "Can we talk?" A flicker of surprise flashed across her face, quickly masked by a guarded expression. "About what?" she asked, her voice steady despite the uncertainty swirling in the air. Henry took a deep breath, ready to pour out his heart, ready to bridge the gap between them. "We're hoping to understand your story," he started, glancing at Rachel for support. "And maybe invite you to help us create something beautiful for our community." But would she listen? Would she let them in? The library fell silent, and for what felt like an eternity, Lily stared at him, weighing her options. "Why should I?" she finally asked, her voice cutting through the stillness like a sharp blade. Henry's pulse quickened. This was it. One small moment hung before him, laden with both hope and uncertainty, waiting for him to answer. Would he have the right words to open her heart? Years of silence, Henry felt the weight of her question settle into his chest, heavy yet fragile. Because he started, trying to gather his thoughts, sensing Rachel's quiet support beside him. Because everyone has a journey. Yours is just as important as anyone else's. We want to listen, not just to talk. Lily's eyes narrowed slightly, a small crease forming between her brows. Listen? You don't even know me. No, he admitted, feeling a rush of vulnerability. But I want to. I've seen people struggling. I've watched them pass by without even a glance. And I don't want that anymore. I want to change how we connect. Silence enveloped them again, but it was different this time. It felt less guarded, the air warming with subtle promise. Henry could see a flicker of interest in Lily's eyes, a softening around her mouth. She looked down at her book, a moment passing as she weighed his words. What if I don't want to share? Then that's okay, Rachel interjected gently. This isn't about forcing you into anything. We're here because we care, and we believe in the stories that people carry. Whether you want to share them or keep them close, that's your choice. For a brief moment, Lily remained quiet, the book resting in her lap forgotten. It was as if the world around them had faded, leaving just the three of them in a cocoon of possibility. "What would you do with my story?" she asked, looking up again, this time more intently. Henry felt an electric pulse of connection at her question. "We want to create a space where everyone can find their voice, a place where each story adds to a tapestry of community. Your story matters. It might even inspire others who feel lost. We believe you have something valuable to share." The flicker of apprehension in Lily's eyes was still there, but something new emerged, a glimmer of curiosity, perhaps hope? "And what if it doesn't? Then we learn from it," Henry said earnestly. "You have the power to shape how others see the world, including you. Just know, we'll be right by your side, no matter what you choose." Lily took a deep breath, her shoulders relaxing just a bit. "You really think it matters? What I have to say?" He nodded, unable to contain a smile. "Absolutely. You matter. And your story is part of our story." Her mouth twisted slightly, a mix of skepticism and intrigue. "Okay, I'll think about it." Henry's heart lifted. "That's all we ask. Just think about it." As they stood in the library, the sunlight filtering through the windows, it felt like the beginning of something beautiful. Their connection, tentative yet alive, began to blossom into trust. Lily finally closed her book, the act seeming symbolic. "What happens next?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Well," Rachel started, taking a step closer, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "If you're up for it, we can meet again. We can share more about what we want to create and hear more about you." The slightest smile broke across Lily's face, and Henry couldn't help but feel the weight of possibilities swirl around them. "Okay," she whispered again, this time with a hint of resolve. "Let us see where this goes." As they exchanged contact information, excitement buzzed through Henry. Maybe, just maybe, this was the spark they needed to ignite a profound change in their community. But as they walked out of the library together, his heart raced with a budding worry. What if Lily changed her mind? What if she felt overwhelmed and pulled away again? He took a deep breath, determined to stay hopeful. After all, this moment felt precious, and he needed to protect it. But then, as they stepped into the bright sunlight, a chilling thought pierced him. Had they truly opened a door, or was it merely an illusion, waiting to close at any moment? Uncertainty loomed, and the reality of the unknown washed over him. Would they be able to keep that door open? As they walked back into the world, Henry knew one thing for sure: their journey was only just beginning. But would they have the courage needed to keep it alive? The next few days blurred together for Henry, tangled in anticipation and a bit of worry. He checked his phone constantly, waiting for that message or call from Lily. Each vibration of his phone turned his heart over, only to fall flat when it was someone else, a coworker asking about a project, or his mother checking in on him. In the quiet moments, he replayed their brief meeting in the library over and over. He could see the slight shift in Lily's expression, the way her walls had cracked ever so slightly. Maybe she would open up after all. The hope felt fragile, like a heartbeat barely registered, yet it thrummed insistently within him. Finally, 3 days later, Henry received a text from her. "Hey, it's Lily. I've been thinking about our conversation. Can we meet?" His breath hitched in his throat. Without a moment's hesitation, he typed back, "Absolutely. How about tomorrow at our usual spot?" Rachel was ecstatic, bubbly with enthusiasm the moment he shared the news. "This is it. We're building something real here, Henry." The next day was crisp and bright, the kind of day that hinted at new beginnings. Henry arrived at their usual coffee shop early, feeling both anxious and excited. The scent of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, mingling with the soft chatter of customers. Just as he was sliding into the booth, he saw Lily approaching. She looked different this time, eyes sparkling with a tentative confidence. Although her jeans and hoodie were still worn, there was something more compelling about her presence. "Hey, thanks for meeting me," she said, sliding into the booth. "Of course. We're glad you're here," Rachel chimed in, her voice warm. Lily fidgeted with the sleeve of her hoodie, glancing between them. "I've thought a lot about what you both said. I'm not used to discussions like this. It feels strange but also nice." Rachel leaned in, her expression earnest. "It's not weird, Lily. This is a safe space. We're here to listen." "Okay," Lily breathed, her eyes lowering for a moment as if summoning courage. "I don't have much of a story, really, but I guess I've just felt lost for a long time." Henry nodded, holding her gaze. "That essay start," he said softly. "We all feel that way sometimes, right?" Lily looked surprised and nodded slightly, her tension easing a little. "It's hard to explain. I moved around a lot. My family isn't. Well, it's complicated." Henry felt the air shift. There it was, the spark he had hoped for. "Complicated is okay. Tell us what you're comfortable with, one piece at a time." As she spoke, each word opened a door to her world, unfolding layers of her journey they had yet to glimpse. Lily shared stories of nights spent in shelters, the kindness of strangers, and moments when hope seemed like a far-off dream. Henry felt a rush of emotions: sadness, empathy, admiration. Here was this incredible girl, standing before them, filled with resilience. He let her words wash over him, recognizing the power in vulnerability, and the truth in opening up. As the conversation flowed, a sense of connection grew, knitting them together. Lily laughed at some of Rachel's jokes, the tension in her shoulders visibly releasing. She was allowing light in. "Thank you for listening," she finally said, her voice tentative yet strong. "I didn't think I could share, but I want to keep trying." Henry's heart swelled. "We're honored you chose to share it with us. This is just the beginning, and we'll support you every step of the way." Lily's lips curled into a small smile, a flicker of something hopeful dancing in her eyes. But just as quickly, the smile faded. "But what if I get scared again? What if I can't do this?" The question hung in the air, heavy yet fragile. It struck Henry like a sudden gust of wind, sending chills down his spine. He could feel the weight of it, the uncertainty, the fear, the immense possibility of loss. As Lily looked up, swallowing her worry, Henry knew they had crossed a threshold, but would they have the strength to keep moving forward? That lingering doubt gripped at his heart, but something deeper urged him to continue this journey with her. What lay ahead could change everything if only they could face it together. Henry felt an ache in his chest at Lily's words. The vulnerability she showed now was both beautiful and frightening. He wanted to comfort her, to tell her everything would be okay, yet he knew that couldn't be promised. Instead, he shifted his focus, trying to find the right words. "Fear is part of the process, Lily," Henry said gently. "It's okay to feel scared. It just means you're stepping into the unknown, and that can lead to amazing things too." Lily bit her lip, contemplating his words. "I guess I just don't want to let you down. I don't want to be a burden, or I don't know. It's just hard." Henry's heart sank. The weight of her fears resonated deep within him. "You could never be a burden, Lily. You're brave for even wanting to try. Just remember, you're not alone in this." Rachel chimed in with a soft smile. "You're not just sharing your story. You're sharing a part of yourself with us. That means something." Slowly, Lily nodded, her brow unfurrowing as a hesitant smile crept back. "Okay. Maybe I can try to keep going. Little by little." A comfortable silence wrapped around them, laced with a shared understanding and newfound trust. It felt like a pause before a storm, full of promise and a gentle excitement. Just then, the barista approached with their drinks, breaking the moment. Henry's eyes swept over the steaming cups, but his mind was still on Lily. Her story was emerging, a delicate flower pushing through the cracks in her past. "Thank you," Rachel said, taking her coffee. "So, what's next on the agenda? Another round of your inspiring tales, Lily?" Lily chuckled, the sound lightening the atmosphere. "I don't have any inspiring tales yet. Just fragments of a chaotic past." "All those fragments make a whole picture," Henry said, leaning closer. "What would you say is the most important fragment for you?" Lily paused, her gaze drifting momentarily as if rummaging through memories. "There was a time when I found a book in a park. It was well-loved, pages dog-eared and cozy. I sat on a bench and read about adventures and places I dreamed about going. That was the first time I felt something like hope." Henry's heart swelled at that image. Books can do that. They can transport us, make us feel things we sometimes forget. What about that memory made you feel hope? She met his gaze, her eyes sparkling with a flicker of something more profound. "It reminded me that the world is full of possibilities, no matter how small they seem." Almost instinctively, Rachel reached for Lily's hand. "That's beautiful. Just like your story so far, Lily. Every little piece matters. It's what makes you, you." A glimmer of confidence shone in Lily's eyes. "Okay, I want to keep going. I want to find those pieces and share them." The conversation shifted, the mood effortlessly lifting. Laughter filled the space as they traded stories, each moment drawing them closer. For the first time, the shadows of doubt and fear began to recede, even if just a little. But as they moved deeper into the conversation, a flicker of doubt crossed Lily's face. "What if I can't hold on to this feeling?" Henry swallowed hard, feeling the familiar tightness return in his chest. Was he prepared for the possibility of her struggle? "We're here for you, and we'll be your anchors. Through the good and the rough patches. How about we meet again soon, maybe to talk some more?" Lily sighed, contemplating the invitation. "I'd like that. Really." As they wrapped up their time together, Henry walked Lily to her car, a connection blossoming like spring flowers. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm glow that wrapped around them. "What will you take from our talk today?" he asked as she leaned against the car. Lily paused, her features softening. "To hope and to keep trying. Maybe even to dream again." Henry couldn't help but smile at her determination. But in that instant, the uncertainty returned, a haunting whisper of all that could go wrong. He wished desperately for Lily's happiness but knew the road ahead wouldn't be smooth. As she turned to open her car door, she paused and looked back at him, eyes filled with an earnestness that sent another wave through his heart. "Promise me something." "What's that?" "Promise that no matter how hard it gets, we will face it together." "I promise," he replied, feeling the weight of the moment settle between them like a pact forged in the fire of their shared experience. As she drove away, Henry's mind whirled with everything they had shared, and with everything still left unsaid. He longed to know more, to uncover the depths of her heart, even as he felt the shadows of her past lingering just out of reach. Could she really let herself be supported? Could he provide the strength she needed? The questions loomed large, and with them, a glimmer of hope flickered, threatening to ignite into something more. What lay ahead was uncertain, but with every new step, there was one truth that echoed loudly in his mind: together, they just might find a way to weave light into the darkness lurking in their lives. Days turned into weeks, and the journey Henry and Lily had embarked on together began unfolding in beautiful ways. They met often, sharing coffee, stories, and laughter as they explored everything the city offered, unveiling new layers of friendship. Each encounter brought Henry closer to understanding Lily's spirit. Yet, as the light-hearted moments blossomed, shadows from Lily's past remained. There were still glimpses of the fear that sometimes enveloped her like a thick fog. It was like watching someone dance around a fire but never quite stepping in, always unsure if the warmth would burn or heal. One sunny afternoon, they found themselves at a park holding a community meeting to share what they had been working on. A mix of old and new faces gathered, including people from the shelters, eager to channel their stories into something powerful. But before the day began, Henry watched as Lily hesitated at the edge of the crowd, a storm brewing behind her vibrant smile. "Hey," he said gently, touching her arm. "You okay?" "I don't know if I can do this," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. Henry's heart raced. "You've come so far and inspired so many people. This is your moment. But what if I fall apart? What if my story isn't good enough?" He felt the weight of her uncertainty and took a deep breath. "You've shared so much already, your resilience, your hope. What you have to say could help others feel less alone." She met his eyes, and in that moment, he saw the flicker of determination behind her doubts. "Okay," she said softly, summoning her courage. "For them and for me." As Lily stepped into the circle and began to share her story, Henry watched in awe. Her voice wavered at first, but with each word, she gained strength. Describing sleepless nights in shelters, moments of joy from simple kindnesses, and the times she found escape within her beloved books, she woven magic through her pain. The crowd listened intently, emotions etching across their faces. As she spoke, he could almost see the walls she had built around herself crumbling, replaced by a shimmering glow of empowerment. When she shared about overcoming her fears and her hope for a brighter future, tears of joy trickled down Henry's face. This moment wasn't just her story, it was a message of strength that reverberated within the hearts of everyone present. After Lily spoke, an electric hush settled over the park. Applause erupted, rippling through the crowd, shadows replaced with light as people expressed admiration and support. Henry felt a mix of pride and relief wash over him. She had influenced change just by being her true self. "Thank you, Lily." One voice boomed. "You've opened our eyes." People started sharing their stories too, there was a sense of resolve brewing, a pulse of hope igniting among them all. That moment clicked something deep within Henry. When people come together, stories weave into a resilient fabric of community. He felt the love that had blossomed between them unfold, the power to transform their lives together felt real. Watching Lily, glowing with newfound confidence, filled Harry with a warmth he had never known. "You did it!" he exclaimed as the applause died down and people began sharing their thoughts. "Thanks, but I couldn't have done it without you," she smiled, her sincerity wrapping around him like a warm embrace. He wondered just how much she had changed, not just in sharing her story but in filling others with courage as well. Her bravery was contagious, it rippled through the crowd as everyone began to connect and plan how they could move forward collectively. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of transformation. Henry leaned into the momentum, he had stepped into a new world where there was true purpose, not just privilege. Lily ignited a passion in him that pulled him to the community, a place where he could learn, support, and build. The partnership flourished. They launched initiatives that bridged divides, workshops, events, and outreach programs that brought together people from all walks of life. The connection deepened, he could see how every smile reflected their shared determination to heal and grow. But it wasn't just the community that transformed. Henry confronted his father, more determined than ever to redefine his worth that extended beyond wealth. This isn't a smash and grab Kim Kardashian episode, Dad, it's real life. People matter. In a surprising turn, his father didn't react with anger, but he saw uncertainty underpinning his authoritative facade. "You're changing, Henry. I just want what's best for you. Then let me make a difference. Let us make a difference together." The conversation marked the beginning of a slow, painful reconnection. Small steps forged the way for Henry's father to see the humanity in those they once overlooked. Slowly, the family's perception began shifting. One evening, Henry and Lily found themselves watching the sunset in the park where it all began. Gratefulness washed over them as they sat side by side on a bench, taking in the vibrant hues painting the sky. I didn't think sharing my story would lead to all this, Lily said, her voice musing softly. Henry smiled, you're amazing. You led the way. You showed us that change starts from within. I couldn't have done it without you, she replied, giving him a side glance filled with warmth and gratitude. His heart swelled as they shared a smile, filled with understanding and hope. Everything had shifted, they both knew it in their bones. In that moment, as they breathed in the hope of countless possibilities shining before them, Henry realized that this journey was just the start of something bigger. It was more than just a friendship, it was a testament to the power of connection, change, and courage. The future ahead sparkled with potential. As he looked over at Lily, a radiant smile adorned her face, and he felt every worry slip away. Together, they had ignited a flame within their hearts, a flame that would lead them into a brighter tomorrow. So when you find yourself at a crossroads, remember that stories have power. They can spark connections, heal wounds, and inspire change. Don't ever underestimate the impact you can have, just like Henry and Lily. Embrace it. You might just change the world, and before we go, this is your moment to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss our next exclusive stories that will touch your heart. Leave a like now to help feed the algorithm and spread this transformation to others who need it. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about the ending. We want to hear what you think. And finally, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this story of hope. Don't wait not even one more second to share, because only true fans understand the importance of supporting this channel. Let us keep this community growing.